Skylanders Imaginators is the definitive edition for the Nintendo Switch. And the reasons to back up my claim is, okay, for first, let's get into the gameplay-wise. Gameplay-wise of the Skylanders, it's not something that's so deep and wide in depth, but it's great for family members. Me and my son had a blast playing through the game. We had a blast playing through creating our own Skylanders using the Crystal Class creation system, which, by the way, I did find out a hidden little gem. You can check my other YouTube video out, but apparently the way that it works, which we're going to talk about in a second, is we tested this with a brand new crystal to test my theory, and it worked. I took a brand new crystal, I put it on there, and I made the class. Now, usually the classes are permanent, so I erased it, and I put it back again, and I could make a new class. So that was extremely valuable. However, there was a person that commented saying it doesn't work for toys that are previously written over. And when they say previously written over, meaning used by previous consoles that saved it to the toy's NFC and not the Switch's NFC reader. Now, there's a difference. The way the Switch game is built, it's built using the right Joy-Con as the NFC reader, and it stores all the Skylanders on the Switch. So once your Skylanders are scanned into the Switch, you can leave them toys at home and bring it anywhere you want, and you'll have as many Skylanders as you currently have. Now, Skylanders Imaginators is the definitive edition for that reason, but also for the portability reason. You can bring it anywhere. And also, the gameplay-wise, it runs fine. There was a few hiccups every once in a while. There's too many animations going on the screen. The cinematics had a hiccup. And when I say hiccup, it looked like a frame drop. Nothing frozen, nothing broken. However, I did get one error when I was using the class creation system. Too many times, like I kept deleting and redoing and deleting and redoing just to see how many times you can do it before the game is like no. And even after the error, I restarted my system and it was fine again. And the class creation system still works. You can buy a brand new one and continue to use it and change your class however you want. I would say for the game, as being on the Switch, it's very good, but it's not in-depth. Now, there's unlockables, and you can also purchase unlockables. The thing I wasn't a fan of is how much DLC actually you have to buy to get the full game. And it's kind of sad to see that because it's hidden behind a lot of senseis, and a lot of the levels are blocked off. But there is a lot of levels you can do and experience with your son. There's mini or daughter. There's mini games. There's like this thing with the clock, and you have to stop at the right time. And if you don't get the prize. Then there's like the snail, and you hit the snail, and you got to go get the snail droplings, and you get a reward. Then there's also the coin collecting, where you're on a vine or you're on somewhere sliding down like a chain, and you got to collect the gold coins for more presents and stuff. It's very present focused for little minds. You know, it gets them in that unlocking something is always progression, but it also holds a lot behind paywalls. And when you look at how much you'd spend on this, it is ridiculous. I bought the Switch edition starter pack, and I also bought 3 crystals, and let me just say that rounded up to like I think it was like $80-$90, and that's still not everything. You know, there's tons of other things like other senseis and stuff, and they're like $14 a piece, and it's just pain. You know, it's pain to spend that much and still not have the full game. And that's where I had to draw some points off because I wasn't a fan of that. Also, another thing to talk about negative wise, I wasn't a fan of was when you're in a co-op mode and you're doing the jumping and stuff, and you're trying to get to the other side. Like if there's a platforming aspect, my son always kept falling off the cliff, and even me being the one way ahead, or not too far ahead, but even just me being ahead, whether it's like ahead of rock or ahead of like 2 boulders ahead of him to get to the other side, it would always bring us both back to the side, to the start. I mean, instead of bringing him to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was really frustrating, and it got to the point where I had to disconnect my son's Joy-Con just so I can make it through that part and then reconnect him so we didn't have to worry about it because he just couldn't make the jump. Yeah, it was I wouldn't say it's a design flaw. I just would have preferred that the person that fell always gets transferred to the player that's ahead instead of starting it over from scratch. So that's about it, really. There's not much to it. I mean, it's an older game, and has more content coming, but the gameplay runs fine, and we've already discussed the portability aspect, and we discussed the ways that it can be used on the go, on the tablet, we discussed the toys are saved to it, so you can bring them everywhere you want. And even with the hiccups, and even with my own personal opinion of the whole co-op thing, I think it's clearly the definitive edition, considering you don't need the portal and your toys are not saved to the other consoles and you can't bring it with them. And then you can argue, well, you're just saying the portable aspect is making it definitive. How? PS4 get high fidelity graphics, no hiccups, and Xbox can do it all too. But you're not going to bring your whole PlayStation with you to a friend's house, just to play some damn Skylanders. And then you got to bring all your toys with you. It's just a waste of time. With the Switch version, you just pick it up, you leave your toys at home, and you can play. Now, with everything put into perspective of what I was trying to say, out of 10, I'm giving this game an 8. It is pretty high, and I thought about it a little bit, but I had to knock points off for the DLC, and I had to knock points off of my own personal opinions of it, because this is my review, and it's not concrete. I'm not no big review gaming channel, but I do like to provide content in my perspective of things. And like I said, I think this game's an 8. I think it's the definitive edition. I wouldn't want to play it on a PlayStation. I wouldn't want to play it on an Xbox, just for the fact that I can attach the toys once, bring it on the go, or wherever I want to do it with it, a tabletop mode, or in the handheld mode, or in the console on TV mode. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see much reason to lug around toys. We've played the Skylanders before. It was like the first one. But then as I seen them get milked, I just got turned off by it. And then I got suckered into it because I needed some other stuff to play for Switch. And that was available. And me and my son, we loved it. So I'm going to give it an 8. You can feel free to discuss your opinion if my 8 is too high for the game. Because it is riddled with DLC. I couldn't go any higher. But I didn't really have that many flaws to it, besides the fact of the co-op teleporting thing and a few hiccups. And just a few hiccups and the co-op thing is not enough to lower the score to, like, someone would say a 6 or something, because I don't feel like the game was a 6. I don't feel like the game's a 7. I do feel like the game's a solid 8. There's a lot of stuff to unlock. There's a lot of content for the base, but there's also a lot hidden under DLC. So I'm Cloud, and I made the Switch. You can feel free to subscribe for more reviews and content all Switch related. Thank you for rocking with me. Have a blessed day. God bless. Peace.